All right, let's just take it away. Okay. Topic today. What is it? You say discussion topic. What can it be? What can it be? It's already here. What do we want? That's it. That's the topic. What do we see? I'm actually gonna go just. No, I'm gonna talk shows. Because it's fine. Confirm and go live. All right. Yo. And there's a hanger. Everything else good? I think everything else fine. Another day, another topic. I'm getting comfortable here. I need to get very, very, very comfortable, then I can keep moving. Right? That's how it works. Let me see who else. Who's in here? All right. Today's topic. What do we want? I don't know if I should go off the back of that. Well, I'm going to, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. First of all, I'm going to sort of write out the conclusion. Oh, to start, actually, I can go on Discord and just write the conclusion of the last one in here. Okay. All right. Let me open Discord. There. And it's not capturing the screen. Where is screen capture? It's just not there. I'll add it now. Display capture. Add source. Add. Then what am I gonna say? Built in. Okay, done. That's so big. How does this do this? Can I put fits to page? Why is it weird? I don't even know how it looks. Is that fine? Should I make a new topic or should I put it under education or something? I'll make a new topic. Form. What's it gonna be called? Just call it the world. Right. Create. And then new post. I'm gonna say state of the world is the State. Now this is from yesterday's discussion, and the final result is, what do we actually have? I think I deleted that, but I should have it on my finder. Let me see. Oh, I can't even see it. Oh, there it is. All right. This was the final result. I can actually just copy and paste this into Discord. This is tedious work. Ugh, I don't like this. Um. All right, there we go. Post. It's very slow start to the stream, but it's okay. We'll get into it. All right, and that's what it is. So boom, boom, boom. That's what it is. I have this populated. So I'm just going to have these discussions, and then from so after tomorrow, so the day after, then I'm just going to try get something going. Right? I'm gonna push for it as well. See what people say. I'm gonna be annoying about it. Right. So let's go into today. That's not what we're doing right now. Oh, it just shows up. Okay, cool. How do I open a new one? This is the thing with all of these. You can't just set it. Wait. Frame tool. How do I open a new one? I don't get it. Guess what we did yesterday. Oh, I think it's here. Exports, reset canvas. There we go. Reset. All right. Now, let's go. Okay, what is the topic for today? It's what do we want? Right? What do we want? Question mark. Is there a global want? Well, we're gonna figure that out. And I think this one we actually need to search as well. But firstly, I might actually have to go. I'll be back. Oh, someone just came in. I can't leave the stream. Okay. Right. So, is there a global collective want? And if there is, we're going to have to try and figure it out. What is it that we want, right? Considering everyone, like everybody. What is it that everyone wants? No, not what is it that everyone wants individually, but as a collective. Everybody on Earth, if they had one collective idea, what would they want? What would be good? Who judges? Or for me, it's God. Although we have to understand that firstly, to know what you want, you have to know what everybody believes. And not everybody believes in the same thing. Right? Not everyone believes in the same thing. So we have to get to the bottom of that. How, regardless of if we all don't believe in the same thing, are there any foundational principles that we all could collectively say, yes, all right, maybe I don't like agree with you on some things, or I don't agree with you on some things, or this and this and this is the case. But if we had to pick, right, a summarization of what we want as a collective, what would it be? You know? Or you can even argue that, let's say a generation did this, right? Where there was this massive survey done with like many different data points, and they were trying to get the exact thing that everybody as a collective wanted, right? And they came up with a sentence or a statement. But even when leadership is overhauled and there's another generation, it's not going to be the same. Some people are going to be like, well, no. Other people are going to be like, actually, no, that's fair. You know? So things change so rapidly. It's like there can't be a specific one because there's just so much different changes. So how do we know what is the right thing to fight for? We have to sort of at least have an idea of what everybody wants. And for us, right? For us here, we have to, because it's going to be I guess, a driving force in terms of what we are going to do on here. Like, if you're saying, oh, you want to do something great, well, how do you know what's needed? How do you know what's great? What's even good, right? So how can I speak for everyone? I don't want to. I'm not going to. So with those constraints, how do I formulate a statement that answer this question on behalf of everybody? Okay. All right, let's get into it. All right, again. What do we want? I'm gonna actually zoom in rather than zoom out. No, I'm actually gonna zoom out. Right. Right. Another question mark. Okay, well, firstly, there's belief. What you believe kind of propels or plays a part in what someone wants. You know, let's say even let's take the whole world, right? Let's say even within one country, there's no within one country there might be a massive amount of variation of ones. Like there can be sort of, I guess, infighting, and people could generally not agree. But let's say something bigger happens than their, I guess, scraps or disagreements. So they would, regardless of what they want, they would put that on the sidelines to agree on a common want based on necessity. So I'm just gonna say necessity matters. I can't spell. Oh my days, this is embarrassing. Oh, I know what to do. Right, and then there we go. You didn't see that. Nobody saw that. Right. Based on necessity. So necessity is going to be a factor, a big factor. Right? Necessity. So should the question actually be, instead of what do we want, what do we need? Should that be the question? The correct question? But they're not the same thing though. They don't go back and forth. How do I answer this, what we want, and then distinguish it from what we need? Because I think what we need is a better sort of collective, there's a better way to like consolidate, because wanting something is based on circumstance, so necessity. So the circumstances that could be in the country I'm in could be different from the country you're in, or from somebody else's country. Circumstances in, let's say, if we're in the same country, right? The country we're in could be different from the countries that are outside of where we live, the countries that we associate with, in a sense. So regardless where you're from or whatever that might be, or who you, I guess, pledge allegiance to, what, no matter what, would be sort of the thing that we all want? How could one person know? Obviously, it has something to do with the human experience. So I'll write that in. Right? Everyone experiences life differently, so their wants and needs are going to be different inevitably. Right? They are, for sure. Um and this one is not really about making like diagrams and making fancy charts and stuff, but generally, like, how do you figure out this? What does everybody want? Like we said before, can I don't want to open that. I don't want to like sort of mix them too much. I want to give myself just a fresh space to think about this on its own. But obviously, we can look at the other things we learned to make a better judgment. What do we want? If I walked up to you randomly and asked, "What do you think we want?" Not what do you want, but what do you think we want? I'm pretty sure most people would sort of talk mostly about what they want and attribute it to what everybody wants, because people are so like into their own problems, aka me, that they think their problems is the same problems everybody else is facing. Maybe the degree is close, but the thing is probably different or comes in a different form. Because everybody wants more money, but but for different things. So someone can say, "Oh, I want a lot of bread. I want money," but the money is like maybe it's the vehicle for something else. There's something more. There's something not deeper, but there's something like that the money allows them to do. There's something else that they want. So how do you look through the disguise of money? Because everyone like puts their wants in this one thing, money. So I'll just actually write that down because money is a factor. It always is. Or yeah, let me actually put just buzzwords, right? Money, um, peace. Good health. Right? Just buzzwords. Right? Money, peace, good health. I think peace is a big one. Definitely is. Right? Peace is a very big one. Everybody wants peace. Fulfillment? I'll put that down. Right. Oh my days. Yeah, no. Uh, oh, I actually gotta. Okay. Fulfillment. Right? So money, peace, good health, fulfillment. Hmm. Let's link them. How do you get access to them? Let's see like what the link is. So I'm gonna actually drag this down and bring them further. Gonna bring them further away from these so that they don't disturb it. Right. Let's link those. Okay. So what will be the first one before you get the next? Okay. What will be number one? How can you? What is the the like line from one to one? Is it money first? Then through money you can get some peace of mind, and when you have peace of mind is good health, or is it money? Then you get fulfillment, and then good health, and then peace, or what is like the way you um what one comes before the other? So based on just looking, I would say it's like this. I would say, and I use a red one. I'll say good health has to be number one. That has to come first because without good health, you can't aim for money. And generally speaking, without money, it's hard to get peace. And when you have all three, then you can pursue fulfillment. Right? No waste of time. So, but again, this does factor in that, right? Like it's like a back and forth. So you can use money to get good health, and then this and this, and then when those are sort of circulating, you get peace. Or actually, this and this might actually be one on one as well because you might gain fulfillment, but it might be a time where you have no peace, and then over and out. When you search to sort of bring back the peace, you work hard, and then when it's maintained, you find fulfillment within that particular endeavor, right? So What sort of society enables all of this to take place? Well, you need it to be prosperous. Prosperous. Right? What else do you need for peace? I guess no war. So, prosperous links to money, right? No war links to peace. No war links to peace. Good health is for fantastic medical system. For necessary biological needs, right? And that links to good health. And then fulfillment needs to think freedom, like I guess freedom of agency to actually pursue the thing that you want, right? So that links to fulfillment, right? So in short terms, let me extrapolate from this, because we can say money is sort of the aggregate. That's not the word. That's not the word. You're gonna see me do that a lot. I'm gonna just say random words that I maybe have seen somewhere that just doesn't make sense, but I'll correct myself, and that's how I learn. So let's say money is talking more of, I guess, the art of trade, right? To be able to transact, to ability to transact, right? And then peace is like for rest, able to rest. Good health is, to live in the best physical, mental, best, I guess, biological, mental, and whatever other processes there is to keep good health. And then fulfillment is agency, ability to like do what you want, I guess, within a specific framework, because too much freedom can actually lead to the worst type of places. So that's another thing. Uh, right. Too much freedom can actually lead to the worst type of places. Because think about it. If you're completely free to do whatever, actually, peace, no war, and laws. yeah, just great laws to sort of keep the peace. So I'll just say great legal system. Um, right. Great legal system. That's what I'd say. No war and a great legal system. So it keeps that peace going, right? So with all of this, how do we know what we want? Well, we want to have good health. Firstly, good health that allows us to gain access or ability to work in order to transact, I guess, to trade in our work for something of value so that we can acquire the things that brings us peace of mind within a system, right? That gives us that peace of mind. And through that, um, hmm, through that something, so it's not framework, that's not the word. Through that environment, right? Given the ability in that environment, it can lead to fulfillment. So within this, there's so much more. There's so much more that comes into play with all of this, but this is what I could guess come up with, right? So good health, money, peace, and fulfillment. So we need a prosperous place, great legal system, medical system as well, and then freedom. Although too much freedom can actually lead to the worst type of places. Because think about the amount of I was gonna say think about the amount of freedom that's in a prison, bro. There is none, because you're not free to do anything. I mean, like within. Never mind. Um. Right. So how can we? How can? What does this tell us about what we want? Because that's still the title of this, the topic of this. What do we want? That's still the topic. This is what we want. But now, how do we spread this everywhere? It's impossible because some of these things are actually bargaining chips for other places. Yeah, if you want a good legal system, you need to get this technology, but we have it and you have to pay. But you don't have money, so well. Oh yeah, if you want money, then you have to pay. Peace. Yeah, the global legal system is there's no global legal system. It's just like I guess best practices. Because if there was like a global body that genuinely has authority over every nation, then it's gonna be yeah, it's gonna be very actually what is it? Um what would happen if there is a global authority that has not leadership, governing body. over. What happened if we accomplish? Okay, I might actually read this in a while, but I'm gonna read it after I actually come up with mine. Right. So if the whole world was unified, what would be accomplished? Right. It's kind of the same thing I'm trying to tackle. What do we want? Well, let's say if the world unified will accomplish it, we'll start going to do the things we want to do, but what do we want before that's the case? No, okay, let's say for instance that is the case. Now, what would we want if we're completely unified? What is it? Right? I'm gonna be back in 5 minutes. Think about this for a second. Right. Now I'll leave this here, but I'll write the question underneath. Right, I'll be back. Right. Thought about it? Oh. Should have actually got rid of this. Okay. So going back to it, right? What do you want if the whole world was unified? If the whole world was unified, how do... Okay, is it one singular goal? Let's be a combination of things that just make something. Hmm. If the whole world was unified, what would we want? Firstly, what do we have? We have a law. We have a law. Of electricity. Have science. We have food, but is it enough? Have medicine. Okay, science led to fertilization. Yeah, plant fertilization being discovered, which also led to... I'm actually gonna get rid of that tonight. I keep talking about it, but I still haven't done it, so I'll get rid of it tonight. So science led to fertilization being found through chemistry, right? Which led to increase in population, drastic. But that also led to poverty. But technological advancement led to prosperity. So when we come up with solutions, we also come up with problems. What if there's a way, or how we will be if we want one thing to be this? Because if we want one thing, is to get rid of all problems, right? That's what we'd want. So how can we get rid of problems fast without, while avoiding the problems we create as we get rid of them? Let's explore that. Okay, so what do we want? We want to get rid of problems. We want to get rid of problems. Right. We want to get rid of problems. But the thing is, I'm actually going to say it like this, okay? Okay, so we want to get rid of problems, although when we create solutions, more problems pop up. Not props, pop. Right. That's what we want. We want to get rid of problems. That's the main thing, right? To extinguish problems. But the thing is, when we create solutions, more problems pop up. So we will create a solution. There'll be another problem, then we'll start trying to solve that as well. But what is the system of how to govern the solution of problems? That would be sick if there was like a main, like, not incentive, but, well, even an incentive would work. but a main system or framework that somebody developed, right, that allows for the correct allocation of human intelligence to solving problems so that we can solve the most imminent problems the quickest and then continuously move forward. When one problem is solved, there's like a cleanup crew to clean up every problem that's discovered until like there's so many cleanup crews behind leading the charge that problems that are developed seem minuscule. But the thing is, when a cleanup crew comes and sort of removes problems with their own solution, aren't more problems created? Now the thing is, do the problems reduce or multiply? So when one problem is cleaned up, do the following issues that arise arise smaller or larger than the issue problem? Right. And my guess would be that they are smaller simply because you wouldn't you wouldn't investigate a problem, right, and come up with a solution and have the solution bring about a different problem that's worse and go and use that solution. More than likely, what will happen is there will be a massive problem and then a cleanup crew will come and the cleanup crew will make the problem more manageable, right? So every cleanup crew will reduce the problem. So it's correct, right? The sentiment that if there was a very, very good framework of how to solve issues, right? A systematic framework that allows for the exact allocation of intelligence to issues, whereby when problems are solved, the underlying issues that prop up, so like the externalities from that, can have like a little cleanup crew come and clean it up so that things don't escalate. Because when you leave a problem, oh, actually say that. And all of this is just intuition. This is not any research or nothing, right? So I could be very wrong. When you leave a problem for too long, it can escalate. I don't know if that's the right spelling. I think it is because there's no red line. Yeah, oh, this didn't have a red line, but I was wrong. You leave a problem for too long, it can escalate, right? So there was a very, very good framework of how to solve problems and allocate intelligence. It would really, really help the way the world operates because everybody would realize that that sort of thing, that framework is fair because we all want to get rid of all the problems, right? But depending on what you believe is how you order problems in your own mind. And there's never going to be a consensus on that. But the main things that I guess the world wants is peace, money, ability to transact. What are the other two? Freedom? No, not freedom. What is it? Fulfillment, peace, money, fulfillment, and what was the last one? Peace, money, fulfillment, and health, good health. You know, Let me try to come up with a final statement. Okay. Again, what do you want? Okay. Firstly, no one person as a world, we have too many distinctions between beliefs. The online aspect of this is to no, that makes no sense. That actually makes no sense. What can I say? Firstly, no one person can be tasked with defining what the world wants, as how the hierarchy works is based on beliefs as a collective. I don't know why I'm going in this trying to say, ooh, one person can't be. No, I think that's a cop out. So I'm gonna stop doing that because I did that yesterday and it's pissing me off, right? It's hard to define it. That's all. Don't say no one person should be tasked. Like I'm not a flipping news article, right? Hard to define what the world wants. What the flip? It's hard to find what the world wants. This is because as a world we have too many beliefs. As beliefs are as wants are dependent on beliefs. It has to define what the world wants is wants are dependent on beliefs. Although we have so many, it would be safe to say that at the bare want all their problems solved. That's a good start. Okay, it's hard to define what the world wants, as wants are dependent on beliefs. Although there are so many beliefs, in the world. It could be, not would be. Alright, it could be. That's what I'm going to say. It could be safe to say that at the bare minimum, human beings want all their problems solved. Right? That's the bare minimum. Like, if you ask someone, do they have problems? Do they want to solve? They'll probably say yes. Now, some people may act in a way that you won't think that they really want their problem solved because they're just doing things that make it worse. But that's kind of like, what is it? I guess just the freedom to be like dumb, or at other times just like inability to actively look into your issues and solve them. Like it's something that, like, having urgency with how you solve your problems, you know, and just kind of like letting it hang. So, with if we had a general sense of sort of striving for a singular purpose, in terms of generalizing what we want, it will be like, okay, we want problem solved. Now, how do we get problem solved? Right? We want problem solved to what end? So, what I would say is the four criteria, like good health, money, peace, and fulfillment, right? Solution. Okay, I know the next part. Solutions. These will bring more. An ending cycle. Yet I would argue that the problems made out would be to a lesser this means if there was a perfect framework for whereby and whereby intelligence in problem solving is allocated efficiently globally. With solution Okay, let me actually see if this makes sense. I think I'm a lot more quieter in my streams. I think for these types of segments, it's better, right? Where I'm genuinely like doing the thinking. Let's see if this makes sense, but I think this is a very long sentence. All right. This means if there was a perfect framework whereby intelligence in problem solving is allocated efficiently. Yeah, no. Intelligence is to solve okay. This means there's a perfect framework whereby intelligence is allocated efficiently to remove underlying issues with solutions. The world can have its problems wiped out, but that would require a great deal of collaboration. And that this sentence is very important. Why can't I do? Ugh, that annoys me. You know what? I'm going to. Okay, it's fine. Require a great deal of collaboration beyond regional advantage. This means solutions for this problem would lead to a world where everyone is in a good health, profitable, at peace. And fulfilled. In conclusion, so the world wants all right, that will be it. I keep going over time. But But yeah, this is the end result. Okay, it's hard to define what the world wants, as wants are dependent on beliefs. Although there are so many beliefs in the world, it could be safe to say. Although there are so many beliefs in the world, it still could be safe to say. It could still be. Although there are so many beliefs in the world, it could still be safe to say that at the bare minimum, human beings want all their problems solved. Solutions to these problems will bring about more in an unending cycle. An unending cycle. Yet, I would argue that the problems made out of solutions would be to a lesser degree. This means that if there was a perfect framework whereby intelligence was allocated efficiently to remove underlying issues with solutions, the world can have its problems completely wiped out without requiring a great deal of collaboration beyond regional advantage. Solutions to these problems would lead to a world where everyone is in good health, profitable, at peace, and fulfilled. In conclusion, the world wants an environment that fosters collaboration between all groups, regardless of borders and beliefs, that can facilitate the allocation of intelligence evenly to solve its problems. So the even allocation of intelligence is what the world wants in order to solve problems. So basically, we all need problems solved. Because I guess if this is the singular philosophy, and this is just me saying from intuition, I don't know anything. Actually, even though we're going over time, we might read that thing. Is it just another person, right? I don't know how. I don't know what their credentials are, but just another person saying something on Reddit. So we'll read that as well. But yeah, I'm gonna put down my Discord and let's just go. Okay. Let's see. How would the world be different if we had I would invite you to read the book of Revelation. It gives a pretty good detail of what would happen and what happened in theory. When this theory takes place initially, just like with every election, people would be overjoyed. They are happy. Change is coming. Is it coming? We're gonna get this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna fix this and that thing over there as well. This person is out for us, and we finally got someone who gets us and understands us, and is going to stick it to those who have been secretly pulling the strings of their own self-interest. And then the old saying rings true: absolute power corrupts absolutely. One person with authority over the entire world, their programs can't work. The problems in the state of the US are vastly different from the problems exactly in another state that is a few hundred miles away. The problems of Africa there then are vastly different than the problems of SE Asia, right? And the problems of South America. Policy is hard. Targeted policies creates too many issues, right? So solutions create issues. So we always try some one size fits all approach to every problem. It doesn't work. Why? Because issues are different and require different solutions. So, right? So our world leader realizes his fixes are rubbish. But this guy is the ruler of the whole world. His ego at this point is already massive with that title. And surely the people complaining just don't know what they're doing. His programs have to work because, well, he leads the entire planet. So it is the complainers' problem. And those complainers are making other people question. So let's just do something about the complainers. And they do, most often with bloodshed and forced silence. One world leader leads directly to revolt and war like we've never seen. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. It always has, and it certainly always will. The results are catastrophic and foretold. Right, so firstly, Book of Revelations. Talked some more about, I guess, points that I mentioned. Right. And it's true, it's hard. Is it hard to define what the world wants or how to solve the problems? His take was how to bring about a solution. But I guess the world does want its problem solved. But from what he's saying, it's impossible because there's no governing body that can solve the amount of problems that human beings create. I talked about problems that come off of solutions, but I didn't talk about how people generally just create more chaos. Firstly, lack of knowledge, then ignorance, and then other things. So that goes back to a different point I have, which is whereby, which is there's a scale, right? This is fair. This is unfair. And like the world is always slightly here. Now, every action, how can we make it that every action sort of pulls it further away? You know? That's kind of what I would say. But to answer the topic heading, this would be my answer. And that is it for this stream. So, thanks for watching. And I'll be here again tomorrow. But tomorrow it will be 1 hour. Just one. I'm not doing 1 hour and 13 minutes again. But I did leave, so I guess I do owe you guys that. And yeah. Peace.